Welcome back to another episode of the Council of Ties. Are you an a-hole? Am I an a-hole? We're going to talk about who's the a-hole today. This is inspired by a lot of other social media content creation groups out there that do something like this from time to time. So not an original idea, but it is a fun one. Got a couple of different stories to talk about. And then while we're reading through these, make your own judgments. I'd like to hear about that as well. Before we get to that, though, first of all, my co-host Adapty here is celebrating because he is going to be a father.
What?
I'm
No.
just kidding.
Whoa. Give me a few more years.
No, see, that's a future "Am I the a-hole" on Reddit. I was supposed to announce that my friend graduated from college, and instead, I announced that he was going to be a father. Am I the a-hole? He's graduated with a degree in some kind of chemistry.
Just chemistry, just general, all chemistry, everything.
Just general. He knows all chemistry, folks.
Well, knows is a very strong word. I'll show you guys my grad cap. So this is all like a culmination of 5 years worth of chemistry notes and calculus and quantum notes. There's a definition of insanity on it with chemistry in quotations because it's what it felt like. That's what chemistry literally is repeating the same thing, expecting different results. And half the time they are different, half the time they aren't. Gwen made this for me because I am not. I couldn't even think of that until she did. And then here's my diploma. Big shocker. Nice and full, as you can tell. Very full. There's a very big degree. But I'll be getting it in like 6 weeks. And then I have a little joke for you guys from a chemistry joke book that Gwen got me. Hold on, I got a pretty good one. Hold on. I found it earlier.
I've been assured we might actually understand the joke and the punchline.
Why was gas chromatography feeling nervous? Because it was having separation anxiety. Hold on.
That's a
what
joke.
What did the store owner say to the thief who stole copper? Liar. I'll see you in court.
I was gonna say that's gotta be a periodic table of elements joke.
Yeah, that I'll leave it off at that because those hurt my soul. But those jokes are the culmination of 5 years of work.
And your next exam will be on that book.
I know. I hope I pass with flying colors on that one.
I think you will.
Hopefully.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Graduating from college is an incredible achievement.
Yes. I appreciate it.
Never should be downplayed. Incredible.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And
no, okay.
No, I was gonna say, and I heard you guys had news too. Want to segue into your news?
Yeah, before we started recording, Tystack said he had gaming news that he wanted to share, so I'm gonna let him take it.
I am super excited about Subnautica 2 is finally out of their legal trouble, and it is dropping in like 3 days, I think.
What was the name?
Subnautica 2.
Oh, Subnautica 2. Oh, I misheard you.
Yeah, they were in like legal trouble. I think they were in legal trouble, but like
no,
it was like
it was basically they fired the original staff and they voted the CEO out. The board did, I think, or something like that, and another company took over. Was it Tencent? No, I forgot the company, but it was an overseas company took over. They booted the CEO out and the people out, and they were continually delaying the game, and then they were going to cancel it, I think, or something like that. And then the Subnautica 2 original dev team found that they violated numerous clauses, and they were supposed to all get paid out a certain amount of money. They never got paid out. It was like hundreds of millions of dollars or something. It was some crazy amount of money, and they just they fought for it in court and they got it back. And the judge was like, why are we even arguing over this? Give them their company back. They deserve it. They've been working on it. It should be early access. You're losing out on money and opportunities. So you are. Really excited.
It's going to be a really good game. Co-op, too.
Yes, and it's going to be co-op. Yes, right on.
So speaking of legal, I was just one of the headlines that I saw. So I have a couple that I'm going to share with you. Nintendo has posted apparently nothing but legal losses in their attempted takedown of Palworld.
Yep.
Wow.
Did they just hit another loss?
No progress. They just had another loss apparently recently.
That's what they get.
They are making no progress in trying to take down Palworld.
Listen, Nintendo can't copyright strike our podcast. I can just tell you right now that there is no way in any world that they're gonna win. It's just it's such an like a closed book case. It's just it doesn't make sense why they're suing. Well, I mean, I understand why they are. They want the money for it because they made so much money, but it's not going to work. Their game is it just takes elements. Like I don't understand why these big companies want to like attack these smaller developers that are building their own company from the ground up. I understand, but you know what I mean.
I think from a legal perspective, the biggest reason they'll lose that lawsuit is because they haven't sued every other game developer that made a game like that.
Yes, exactly. And
I
then
think that's
also
where you get into trouble when you don't. If they had sued every single one of them and won on a couple of those, there might be legal precedent at this point, and they might win. But
and
because they didn't do that and they waited until there was a whale to go after, the court's not. They're never going to side with them on this. It's
well,
just not going to happen.
there's that, and then also them trying to file patents midway through a legal battle. It just even if the patent goes through, it's going to be irrelevant because it's gonna
Evidently,
be
they were trying to modify some of their existing patents too.
yes, and the
Pretty sure I
biggest
read that.
patent that they put out that was I don't even understand how the U.S. Patent Office let this go through. They tried to patent the ability to catch and have other creatures help you or something like that. Like it was like literally like the core gameplay of I can't even think of how many games where you have
Yeah.
companions. They were just trying to get rid of they were trying to patent companions. Tell me where the logic was with the lawyers there. They must be getting paid way too much because that made no sense. That's just me, but I had to
I
say
think
that one.
sometimes we think that, like with the patent office and things, I think we sometimes think that there are actually adults in the room there. I don't think there always is.
Yeah.
I think sometimes these patents are drafted, they're filed, and somebody just goes, okay, that's a patent, we're good. There's
Yep.
no challenges to the patent. So why wouldn't they let it go through? Sometimes I think they're too broad or something, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's always an adult in the room, though.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Um,
Um,
Speaking of Nintendo news,
yep.
so we all have heard that the Nintendo announced the Switch 2 price is going to go up,
Yeah, of course.
and begin. This is for a variety of reasons: the RAM issues and everything that's kind of happening with rare materials, rare earth materials, and stuff like that. But um, immediately after that increase, Nintendo stock took a 10% drop.
I
Just
can't blame
instantly,
them.
their stock price went down by 10%.
I cannot blame them at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of deserved. It's the same. It's the same. Like I understand RAM is more expensive, right? I understand it costs more to make these consoles. There's no way it costs that much more that it has to take that much more money from the average consumer. There's no way. It like you think about how much they actually spend on making PlayStation 5. Half of that is plastic. Probably 75% of a PlayStation and an Xbox is plastic. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying like when you look at the actual parts, the components, the quality of components, like how PlayStations can have HDMI issues with their ports because they're cheaply built, because they're built in mass amounts and with the same products and all these different things. So like that's where I draw I mean like I don't blame people for going against them. I would imagine PlayStation stock also dropped when they announced their recent update and them making the PS5 Pro like $950 or some crazy number recently.
Unreal. Yeah, it's unreal.
I didn't actually
Unreal
see that.
numbers. Yeah,
If it affected their stock
they
price.
did the same thing because of one of the biggest reasons is I'll just say that not to get political or anything.
Mhm.
That is simply put one of the biggest reasons, but it's still ludicrous. I don't think it should be that way for it. That's just me. But
Couple more pieces of gaming news. Double Fine, the developer that's been around for a long time. They made games like Psychonauts.
yep.
Smaller, used to be a smaller studio, kind of a mid-sized studio now. I think they're owned largely by Microsoft, but their employees are planning to unionize, and that's indicative of a larger trend in the gaming world.
Mhm.
The Wizards of the Coast development team that does the online platform Magic the Gathering Arena, those employees are right now also attempting to unionize. So a lot of movement kind of in that space. The only commentary I have on that is that labor unions are generally a positive.
Yes.
So
Well,
kudos to them.
a lot of game devs are overworked to oblivion. So I don't blame them.
Yep. Okay. EA's headquarters is currently being protested over the $55 billion Saudi Arabia buyout. You
Yep.
just heard this story, right? That there's a Saudi Arabia
Major
investment
problem.
group that is looking to acquire EA, and hasn't happened yet, but it's probably going to happen given the current administration.
And think about the amount of
Uh,
money too. That's an unfathomable amount of money too that we're talking about being transferred and given. A lot of people are getting a lot of big paychecks in their pocket if that goes through. So, you know what I mean?
I'm
I
not a fan of studios being sold to private equity, and this is essentially what this is, but it also has a foreign element to it. Not a
Yeah.
fan of that in general. It's going to make EA is already not a good studio anymore, not a good publisher anymore. This is just going to make them measurably, demonstrably worse.
I'm worried that because it's a private thing, there's a chance that when we get a game from EA in the future, we might not be able to give the feedback we were and get the changes that we need. And also, markups could be through the roof and all these different things. Like, now you have GTA 6 coming out in November, which of course I'm excited for. That base game price is a lot more than a regular base game price from what I heard. I think it's like or something like that, or 80, 90. I understand because of the weight, but that might become the new standard when you start introducing private firms and things like that. And that makes me nervous, very nervous for the overall, because what if that all starts getting bought up? Then we have no control over our games anymore. That's just me, but
All right, my last bit of news, and this is my favorite piece, and I saved this. It's also the least substantial, but it is the most exciting by far. And I'm looking at both of you here because I think you're both going to enjoy this. There are very credible rumors that From Software is developing a pirate game
ooh,
and that it will come out in 2026.
I don't know about 2026. Come on.
There are very credible rumors.
Okay, the rumors about the pirate game, I believe 2026. It might get pushed back to 2027 just because we're a little late into the unless it's been in development, then I can't say. You know what I mean? If it's been
From
in
Software
development
has
since
a
Elden Ring,
history.
Secret
From
devs,
Software has
yeah.
a history of doing this. This
really?
is not
Oh,
new
okay.
for them.
That's my
From Software always works like behind the scenes until you get it's all right, we're almost halfway done. Here's our game. Hope you like it.
oh.
That was
Okay, yeah,
Armored
yeah.
Core 6. That was their big thing with Armored Core 6.
Mhm.
Nobody had any idea that was, I mean, there were rumors, but the general
And it just
public
got
had no idea. And then it was 6 months away was the release date or something. So
okay. I mean,
there's still
listen,
time for that. It could happen.
I will not complain. I love From Software.
I'd be
I'm
very happy.
I'm interested how they're gonna put like maybe ship elements into it if they decide, as well as like gun elements because like blunderbuss things like that. Like that's gonna be interesting to see how they do. I mean, they did something similar with Bloodborne, but I don't know if they're gonna do the same way. Like, are pirates gonna be fast like Bloodborne? Is it gonna be similar? You know
Could
what I
it
mean?
be a pirate successor to Bloodborne?
I know.
So cool.
Well, I
That
know
would be so good.
isn't the Bloodborne successors coming out on the Switch? It's like
Dustbloods.
Q3 2026 Dustbloods.
That's 2026 also. Yeah. Confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're gonna get a double drop this year. I would be thrilled. So
It's possible.
I hope so.
Keep your eyes peeled for news because now that it's been
Sir.
leaked,
I
think there's a
will
good chance
definitely
that's been
keep it out.
I had some other leak stuff that's been out there too. Like the Lego Batman game leaked early on some
Oh,
platforms.
I didn't even see that.
Forza 6 leaked early on some
Yep.
platforms as well.
I heard about
That's
that.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
What a world.
Yep. And then also, I think GTA 6's trailer 3 comes out tomorrow. I don't know based off our time zones, but it comes
I mean,
out
let's hope.
very soon. Third trailer, and if they push it back any longer, I don't know what to do with my.
Oh, you'll survive.
I will, but I don't think I have any other.
I've been staying super far away from GTA 6 news because like I don't really believe it's a real game until it's here. I don't believe it's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
I mean, I believe it is. Rockstar's they're not gonna piss away. This is their last chance, right? They've been riding GTA 5 for what, 12 years now or something.
Yeah,
it's-
This
game
has
is
to come out. It has to, or they're
Also,
toast.
I did have one small piece of gaming news. The Destiny community is kind of binding together to play D1 again. D1's player count has been going up because Destiny 2 is basically dead. Marathon is basically dead, at least on Steam. It sucks because they spent all this money and this time on this video game when they could have invested it and made something beautiful out of the current game they have, or even start working on Destiny 3 or something to start anew or fresh. It sucks. I see a lot of Destiny nostalgia posts like about like missing raids and all these things weekly raid resets and staying up until the raid resets. I miss all that. I miss it so much. But I think if they develop a Destiny 3, then Bungie has hope. But with how Marathon is going, they're hurting. I saw it was like less than 30,000 play concurrent. I was like, oh my god, that sucks. I hope it gets better, just in general, because they made such a and Halo.
I mean, I think shooters are in a bad place in general right now. Call of
Yeah.
Duty's in the toilet. I think CS:GO or CS2, I mean, is seeing a brief resurgence here, but I think that has more to do with content creators playing it recently than anything else. Because
Yeah,
nothing's changed with the game; it's the same game.
R6 is
Valorant
still
sucks.
alive. R6 is still alive. That's probably one of the only shooters that still got a
I just
major
saw they
fan base.
added Solid Snake to R6. That's kind of
Yes.
cool.
And then in June, which I will be starting to play again in June, they're adding ranked 3.0, where they're going back to old ranked, where your actual elo is your elo, and they don't have a hidden elo MMR behind a screen. I was queuing copper with golds and diamonds. What are we doing? I don't even know the strats that these diamonds and golds are using. I'm getting cooked every time. Like, so that's just me. I'm excited to see how that game progresses. And then Battlefield 6 died out pretty quick. Really sucks. I was really excited for that, but they didn't add enough quickly enough. And it a lot of people were asking for certain maps back. Didn't do it. They didn't do a lot of the same gunplay that we were looking for, adding back like similar guns and things like that. They're just like, oh, it's in the portal now. I'm like, no. We want like the official, like in the game modes. Like this is a map we can choose, not a portal mode. People aren't going to go out of their way to play through Battlefield Portal. We don't want to. You know what I mean? So
I think everybody should hop back on Fragpunk. Let's make Fragpunk great again.
I'd be down. I think
down.
Fragpunk has a lot of versatility.
Still fun to this day. Still have a great time playing it.
I said it before on this
I'll have to redownload
podcast that that is the best version of that kind of game.
Yep.
I think it's
I
better
agree.
than CS2. I think it's better than Valorant. It's just better mechanically. The maps are better. It's just aesthetically more interesting. A better game, just all around.
Yep.
Play Fragpunk if you haven't already done it. This is the second
Yes.
time we talked about it. Do it
Yes.
if you
Highly
like that
recommend.
style of game.
All right.
Okay, so I've got 4 of these Am I the A-hole stories for us to go through. They may not take us very long. I tried to find controversial ones. Not as easy as you think, but got 4 of them. Talk about them. So I'm gonna read the title, and then we can react there if we need to, and then I'll read the body of it, and I'll probably read a couple of comments and stuff too.
Yep.
And then we can make our own determination. So this one is, am I the a-hole? I told my daughter she needs to get over her jealousy, and it is her own fault that her life is the way that it is.
Oh, it heavily depends on the circumstances. Like is the daughter doing illicit substances and things like that? Then maybe, but you also have it depends on how old the daughter is too. Like the daughter's like 35, we have a problem. But if it's like the daughter's 16, then kind of I feel like on the parent side of it, have to guide your child. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely the concept of the fail son, the grown adult that hasn't got their crap together, that is envious of those that do have their stuff together, and because of that they are enjoying life a little bit more, perhaps. I think what those people sometimes don't understand is how much work it is to be that person that seems to be put together and
Yep.
enjoying things. But
The
okay.
word is seems.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing issue, and I need some outside opinions with my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter is working as a waitress ever since she dropped out of college. She wasn't going to classes, and her GPA plummeted. The university kicked her out. Due to this, she doesn't have much money to do anything. My other daughter is graduating and just got a job offer to a good company. I will call the oldest daughter Madison and the youngest Becky. Those are fake names.
Yep.
Becky is going to make good money starting her job and doesn't have any loans. She got a full ride to her college. Madison is in debt and struggling, and this is where the help issues stem from. She believes she should be doing better than Becky since she is older. I have tried over and over to help her, but she has turned bitter about anything that Becky achieves. Becky told us she planned on going to Iceland in the fall. It was a quick conversation, but in the car ride home, Madison went off. She was pissed that she gets to do all this cool stuff and that it wasn't fair. She started to insult Becky, and that was when I had enough. I told her she needs to get over her jealousy, and the reason her life is the way it is because it's her own fault. We got into an argument, and now she's pissed at me and won't talk to me. My wife thinks I went too far, but I think she needs to hear it.
I'll say this. It's a little quote. Comparison is the thief of joy. As soon as the father starts the father in his head just told us exactly what he was thinking, right? He is comparing them, right? He himself inertly, based off of just how he was talking, is comparing them. And that ultimately will make the daughter feel worse. The daughter will feel worse, and then it repeats the cycle because then she'll start thinking. So as soon as you start that repetition in that never-ending cycle, it's hard to break out of it. But also, the state of the world and how college is and everything like that, I don't blame her for dropping out. Like, I just finished it. Yeah, but let me just tell you right now, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 22. Yes, I have a job offer. Yes, I signed it. Yes, I'm going to start working. I still don't have my stuff figured out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have my life figured out. Nobody really does 100%. It's all just a surface level thing. I guarantee you the older daughter has just as much struggles in different areas. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the same, but that's how I see it.
From my perspective, to me, it seems like Madison, the youngest, is a little bit entitled, and that could be a parenting issue that
Yeah.
could fall on the parents 100%.
And then instead of being like, "Oh, you should do this like your older sister," you should be like, "Hey, how about you give advice to your younger daughter from your perspective?" Maybe did the parents even go to college? That's another thing. What did the parents do? Did they go to college? Did they drop out? Did they so like
No information on that.
you can't criticize somebody for dropping out of college. A lot of people try college and drop out because they hate it. Who can blame them for that? You know what I mean?
But those people who dropped out of college, I'm sure they're not comparing themselves to someone who graduated college, and Madison
Exactly.
was. Ma Madison thinks that she deserves more than Becky,
Yeah.
but she
And
dropped out.
Yeah,
it's
I think
it's
that is
definitely
where I
yeah.
start to draw issue
Yeah.
is when younger sister is mad at older sister and saying it's not fair that you get to do these things and I don't. That's not
I
the
agree.
way
I
it
agree.
is, right? That's not
Yeah.
the situation. She got into college, had to drop out because it was too tough. I get that. I have sympathy for that. But and that's there's unfairness I think there in life. Life is inherently unfair, just first of all.
Yeah.
The sooner everybody figures that out, the better for most people, I think. But what she wants should be railing at is the system that is not set up for everybody to succeed, and not her sister and not her parents, because I don't think that they did that to her.
No. Um, I will say that her way of thinking necessarily is not right, but it also majorly depends on what the other older sister got in college. Like, was she an engineer? Was she a business major? She a you know, some sort of finance? Or is she working for corporate? Is the sister even happy with her? That's the other thing. Like what she's doing with her life. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. A lot of people get a degree and they go into something they hate for the rest of their lives. So it's like there's so many factors that can go in. I wouldn't say the dad is necessarily a-hole, but I will say his comparison and reaming her out instead of having a serious conversation about it doesn't just giving somebody a lecture and reaming them out does not help, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
I definitely think he could have been a little bit more, you know,
Yeah.
understanding, hear her out, hear her side. But I don't think anyone's wrong. You know,
Yeah.
some things
No.
need to be said sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, Dad might have been putting up with this for a while too, though, and finally just
Yeah.
hit his limit. Hearing the youngest go on and on, or the oldest, or go on and on and on and on about how it's unfair that the younger sister seems to be doing all these things, and so I could understand why maybe he'd finally snap and just say,
Yeah.
"Look, your life is where it is because of your own choices, and whether that's fair or not, or true or not, even." But that's
Yeah.
I could see him being upset about that. Top comment on this is your wife thinks you went too far telling her the truth. Your wife needs to stop coddling a grown ass woman, not the asshole, but check both of them.
Yeah. It also depends on what he said because he might have what's the word?
Hmm.
It might have been verbatim what he said and not actually what he said, and that can also change how I view it. You know what I mean? The father was very gently like talking about it like you need to figure this out, like this is getting to be too much. That's different. The dad didn't go too far, but if the dad was like yelling at her about these, that completely changes the I'm not also not a father,
Also,
so I can't 100% comment. You know what I mean?
if the dad was kind of showing more interest in the younger daughter and kind of treating the oldest like you had your time. I'm gonna focus on this one. That could kind of make the oldest mad,
Yeah.
a little bit bitter,
Yeah, exactly.
showing favoritism.
And also, you have the older sister, younger sister, or older sibling, younger sibling trope. That's a big thing. You know what I mean? Younger, in a lot of cases, is favored than the older. The older is just
Yeah,
expected to figure it out and get it together. And then the younger can just take from what that person had to go through and use it to their advantage. And not necessarily in a mean way. I'm just saying in general. You know what I mean? So you have an older sibling go to college, they didn't learn about scholarships and all these things you could apply for X, Y, and Z, and then the younger person learns about it and apply things like that.
Yeah, I guess we don't know. Dad could have been for however long now, talking to the sisters and just saying to the older sister, "Well, just look how good your younger sister's doing. Look how successful she is.
That's
Look
what I was
how much
saying. Yeah,
she's enjoying herself." We don't. He could have been needling her for forever with that. We had
yeah,
no idea.
exactly. And it's also rough because realistically, you should be able to work any job and live comfortably, but sadly, that's not how the system works. Even if you're a waitress or fast food worker or anything like that, like it's a job at the end of the day. I'm not gonna. I worked fast food for 5 years. I understand. You know what I mean? Or no, 6 years, almost six. So it's definitely a hard like middle ground between stories. It's
and
Oh,
two
I,
sides.
I
some waitresses and waiters, it's pretty lucrative.
Yes.
it can be.
It can be, absolutely can be. But if you're at a dead end dive bar, it's probably not ideal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I am firmly in that camp that if you're working a 40-hour-a-week job, you should be paid enough to afford food and housing, and
Yes.
even some amount of entertainment. You should be able to not just exist. You should be
Yeah,
able to live.
exactly.
And I know that there's for some reason there's controversy around that. I've never quite understood that, but I don't think that that's controversial. I think that as a human being, if you're inputting into the economy, you should be able to get something out of it.
Exactly. I agree with
But okay, another comment here. Yeah, it's one thing to feel a type of way about how your life turned out. It's another to insult and resent people for literally just living their life. Madison needs to get her head on straight.
you. It still depends on what she was going through. Like what was getting pushed onto her. Like we were talking about father could be about it for years. It could be years at the, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Another thing that I kind of another theme of the comments that maybe wasn't brought up, but Madison is still young. The eldest sister is probably, by the sound of it, still young. She could still go back to school. She could
yeah.
go try again. I went back to school in my late 20s.
Yeah.
You can still do that. That's
Yeah, exactly.
doable. And get and hit reset. It wasn't comfortable. I didn't enjoy it all the time, but I'm happy with what I've done now.
Exactly.
So
And
sometimes you
well,
just gotta eat the frog, as they say.
and one thing I can tell you about college is the amount of times that you want to just throw in the towel and stop doing what you're doing. It is awful. But as long as you're able to persevere and push through it, you anybody can do it. Just takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work and harder work from some people than others. Some people are natural A students that destroy a curve. Some aren't. So it just like I wasn't. I was not a natural A. But you have to push through those rough moments.
I was not in college round one. I was not a A student either. I was a B, C student because I was working two jobs and I was hanging out with my friends. I was partying a lot. And so college was not my high priority. When I went back to school as an adult, married with a kid, I was a straight A 4.0. And then even into taking my CPA exams to become a certified public accountant, I scored mid 80s on those exams, and you need a 75 to pass them. So I was a
Yeah.
higher, I was above the average rate. So
Yeah.
sometimes you need time. Sometimes you still need some salt, some maturity.
Yeah. I agree. You get that also with your older years. Like a lot of freshmen, you don't do well. I didn't do well my freshman year. Bombed my GPA from the beginning, but I switched majors to what I actually wanted to do, and then I moved on from it. So yeah,
Well, unsurprisingly, the overwhelming consensus was that Dad was not the a hole.
yeah,
They Some people said, you maybe could have delivered the message better, perhaps, but the message was probably not a bad one. Hard to say for sure because we don't know exactly what was said, but
Yeah.
um, I think in general, I don't think there's anybody that's an a-hole here. I can kind of see everybody's point of view pretty
Yeah,
clearly.
exactly.
Yeah.
It just takes some time to understand.
Okay, story number 2. Am I the a-hole for not removing my doormat because it scares my neighbor's kid?
Yeah, you're gonna have to read more because that I need to understand.
No snap judgment there?
It depends. Like, is this like
I mean,
some crazy monstrous doormat,
Mm.
or like is it like Ghost Rider? Like, what could it be?
it is their house, but like I don't know, like obviously, like if there's like nudity or whatever, like if the kid is like not supposed to see it, then yeah, you're kind of in the
Yeah,
wrong.
and
But
as
like
long as the doormat isn't flipping up every time you walk into the house to
yeah,
scare the living
and
daylights
but
out of the
like
child.
if it's just like Michael Myers, like bro, it's your house, you got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. My wife and I, both 32, have been living at our apartment's a good detail there, for
Okay.
4 years and are both huge horror fans. We have had an Art the Clown. So, for those that don't know, Art the Clown's from Terrifier,
Yep.
which are decent horror movies. If they're modern slashers, they're very gory,
They're pretty funny.
not very deep. They're like dark horror comedy, pretty good
Yeah.
movies actually. Um, we've had an Art the Clown doormat from Spirit Halloween for 2 years now. It's not a Halloween decoration; it's just what we like. Last month, around the beginning of April, we had some neighbors move in across from us. They have 2 kids. One is a baby, and one is maybe 3 or 4 years old. The first time we met them was a couple of days after they moved in. We were all bringing in groceries, and I introduced myself, shook hands, all of that. The dad says, "Still Halloween, huh?" And I just laughed it off. Since then, we've come home 4 times to them flipping our doormat, and we know it's them because we have a ring camera. We were fine letting them do it and just flipping it back over until a couple of days ago when we caught them doing it in person. We asked what the issue was, and apparently their son is super afraid of it, even though the kid was right there and was acting completely fine, not crying or anything. The only one that seemed agitated at all was the mom, who swore at us and rolled her eyes and was just generally unpleasant. We haven't interacted with her much before or since. My wife waited until they were inside and flipped it back over. I stayed out with the dad and talked it over, and he seemed fine. He said he understood it was our space, and he talked it over with his wife, and that his son was old enough to understand it couldn't hurt him. This morning we walked out and saw our doormat wasn't even flipped over, it was thrown outside of the stairwell. We live on the 4th floor, so it was a very deliberate thing. My wife wants to report it to management, but I'm just about tired of this. I kind of want to throw it away, but I also want to keep it. I don't know. I'm just confused.
First of all, you should never touch anyone's stuff. Something I've learned.
Don't touch
People-
anybody's doormat.
No,
Don't do
even
that.
if it's a
Even if it's
doormat and people
offensive,
step
don't
on it.
do it.
No. And if it's really that much of a problem and the kid seems fine near it, like I really don't understand the problem and they're not being the a-hole because I'd put that mat right back and they would get reported because why are you touching my stuff? If
Definitely.
it's Art the Clown massacring somebody like from a movie, then I get it. But if it's just Art the Clown on a mat, which a lot of people love the aesthetic of him, like and just the jokes that surround those movies and everything, then what harm is it doing? Like, why is it their problem after they've been living there for that long? You know what I mean? That's the other thing.
Initially, when Glory said apartment, I instantly went, well, it is kind of a public setting. You got to walk past it every day. That does kind of suck. So, I mean, just put it inside until you start touching my thing. Now I'll put 2 of them out there.
Yeah. So, well, it's like them flipping it over and then flipping it back. It was respectful and it wasn't
Yeah,
them
that's
messing
fine.
with it. That's fine. I get it. Sure. But it really also is, I don't think it's that deep. Like, I really don't like if you're able to reassure a child and like they're saying the father knows that it's not going to hurt him, like or the kid knows because the father told him, like, then is from what I can tell, it's the wife that probably threw out the mat out the stairwell or something like that, and that is
Definitely.
ludicrous. It's a
It's
mat.
heavily implied.
At the end of the day, it is like if here's the thing, you have to think about it this way: if the other people had this happen to them, it probably would have been they probably would have freaked out. You know what I mean? So like, it's I don't think they're being an a-hole. Not even close. Not even
Maybe
remotely close.
maybe I would be a bad neighbor because I think the first thing I would do is buy another one and put it in front of their door.
I'd staple it into the concrete personally, but that's me.
Yeah, so I think the thing that is missing in society, kind of generally, is conversation about
Yeah.
things. Because there are a lot of this is a theme not amongst the stories that I'm going to read today, but if you spend time on Reddit and you read stories like this, there are so many things that are like, my neighbor's doing this, what do I do? And everybody kind of in the comments is like, okay, have you talked to them? Well, no, I haven't talked to them. Okay, you should try talking to them first
Yeah.
of all. And so if I was that family that moved in, and I'm gonna assume I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a moment because I don't believe this, but even if my kid was scared, if that kid was scared, I would just go knock on their door and I'd be like, "Hey, my kid's afraid of your doormat. Can we do something about that? Like, can I get you a replacement doormat? Can I, you know what I mean? Like, can we work
That's what I
something
was
out?"
thinking. Like
That should have been step one.
if I was on the other side, I would have just been approached them, been like, "I'll buy you a new one, as nice as you want. Like, I don't care. It'll just save me the trouble. It'll save my child the trouble, my wife the trouble, X, Y, and Z. And you guys can keep that. I'm not going to do anything with it. I don't want you to throw it out. I understand that you like it. Things like that. It's just that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Alternatively, if somebody is messing with my stuff, if I'm the other family and I'm in that, or the other couple and I'm in that apartment and I've had that doormat and they're not talking to me about it, they're just flipping it and then they're throwing it into the stairwell. I'm gonna go buy a cardboard cutout of Art the Clown and I'm gonna tape it to my door.
Yeah, exactly. Because at that point,
He's
it's
gonna
just
live in my
ridiculous.
house now. I'm gonna put him in my window. He's gonna
Yeah.
stare out my window at them.
No. And also it's one of those things where like you also because no matter what, like you also have to train your kids that not everything is real. I'm not a parent, but you can like because they're going to see so many things throughout their lives, especially with social media and the internet, that you have to train them that not everything you see is real. You know what I mean? And not train them, but teach them. They're not teach them.
No, no,
You know
you
what I
train
mean?
them. You definitely train kids. No, you
Okay, well,
definitely do.
I didn't want to use the wrong word, but
Nope,
you know
that's
you see what
definitely
I'm
accurate.
saying though? Like it's that simple, in my opinion. It's just either a conversation, also them parenting in maybe different ways, or showing the child that something like this is not real. Like if they went up to the doormat and showed him, like, hey, look, this is nothing's wrong with this. This is nothing's coming alive. Nothing's gonna hurt you. It is a literal piece of fiber on rubber. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? And
I could do you
I've
one better. If that was my kid, I would walk him over to the house and I'd say, "Look, this is a doormat," and I would stomp on it and I would
yeah,
wipe my feet
exactly.
on it and
Yeah,
I'd say,
exactly.
"Look, you can do this too," and I would laugh while he was doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what I
It's
would,
that
and that takes the fear out of it.
it's conditioning, condition training. That's what it is. That's like the literal like people who have phobias and things like that. You introduce them to those things slowly, and it helps get rid of the phobia. It's the same concept, and that helps the kid also not build a phobia later in life. So I don't think they're being the a hole. I think it's the opposite.
Comment that I liked here. Not the a hole. I got $5 that says the kid doesn't care. Mom just likes a certain aesthetic in her place. That's kind of my read on it too.
Yeah,
I'd be
probably.
Halloweening my door up and reporting her, but I'd also politely tell her that you've got her on video, and the next time she touches your stuff, you're going to the police. I've had this neighbor, and the horror stories I could tell. Nip it in the bud now, or she'll try to have you dancing to her tune for as long as you have to live next to her.
Yeah, and it could start as simple as a doormat, and the next thing you know, you're watching a movie too late the next day, and the next thing you
Yep.
know, they hear a slight bang in the wall, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden they build this list, and then they get you evicted or something like that's what people do. They do that to purposefully get you kicked out of places. It's ludicrous.
On the first comment, the whole aesthetic thing, who's to say like, okay, you move your Art the Clown mat and then she paints her door green, but she wants your door to be green to match her door.
Mhm.
Like that would a thousand
It's a
percent happen.
snowball. It's a snowball
Yeah,
effect.
definitely.
Well, and oh, look, I've put out nice flowers. Why don't you start putting out nice flowers?
Yep.
And oh, we've got different colored lights out here. You should put up lights too. And like that is a very real kind of thing that happens. I could see them turning it into this
Now,
whole, oh, we have to turn this whole space into our space instead of.
Especially with apartment buildings because of the close proximity. You're right
Yep.
there.
yep. And now if they became best of friend neighbors and they wanted to decorate together, whole different story. But
That'd be sick.
now, you know what I mean? If they're this is just this whole situation is it's petty and in my opinion stupid of the other neighbors. Not the people who posted, the people that were throwing them
Yeah.
at. Like it's to the point where like you can start getting charged with crimes and things like that, like because you're touching other people's things. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to just have a conversation, figure it out.
I've moved around a lot in my life, and there've been places that I lived where I never met my neighbors. There's been other places where I've met my neighbors and we've become fast friends. Where I currently live, I'm in the burbs, and our
Yeah,
houses we're stacked. But and my neighbors, we're close with my neighbors. My neighbors have kids. Three houses next to us have kids that are same age as my kid, so we're close with our neighbors.
yeah,
And there is a huge difference in kind of your neighborhood quality of life when you know and get along with your neighbors than
exactly.
when you don't.
You can
And
sleep at
I don't
night.
begrudge people that want to be left alone, that don't want to get to know their neighbors, that they don't want to interact. That's totally acceptable. But there's also the difference between that and kind of waging passive aggressive war with your neighbors, which is
Yeah,
what this is.
we're
But get to know
social
your neighbors if you
creatures.
can.
Humans are social creatures. You know what I mean? We need that sense of community, especially if we're living at home. It helps you sit at ease knowing you can go to sleep at night, and if you make a little bit of a noise, you're not going to get reported to an HOA or that because you did something. You know what I mean? So like, I, I don't know. I don't think that that person was.
Growing up in Philly was awesome because all my neighbors knew me. I lived with my grandmother, and it was her house for 60 years. Same people on the block, same everything.
Yep.
All the doors were unlocked. If I needed milk, I go in my fridge. We don't have any milk. I run next door to Aunt Donna. Not really my aunt. Just
Very
known me
close.
forever.
I get it.
Walk
Yeah.
right in, go in her fridge, grab milk, leave. You won't even know I'm there. And that was just how it was in Philly. Like everyone knew everybody. We all looked out for each other.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think we could definitely use a lot more of that in society.
I agree
Definitely.
with you. 100%.
I'm going to offer one other alternative viewpoint comment because this one's interesting. And we've touched on kind of elements of this, but listen, you're going to get a lot of comments saying it's your house, your life. And while that's technically true, the nice thing to do here would be to flip the doormat or move it elsewhere. You don't know anything about this kid other than the few times you've seen him. He might be silent around you, but waking his parents up because he's terrified of the clown under his bed. You don't know, and your immediate assumption that your neighbors are lying doesn't necessarily mean that they are. If they're taking such extreme time and effort from their lives to keep flipping it over without trying to harass you over it, it's probably not a power play. In the end, is this a battle worth fighting? Is making enemies of your neighbors over a silly, fixable 2 second solution problem worth it? Is this the hill you want to die on? Can this mat not be moved temporarily to the garage door or back door or the inside of the doorway? You aren't technically in the wrong, I guess, but man, you aren't going to open the door to these neighbors doing you any favors in the future, that's for sure.
It's a snowball effect, like we talked about, though. What if they remove the mat, and then what if they don't like this, and then what if they don't like that? A simple conversation would fix it. Instead of just keeling over and taking it in the back, let it like talk. It's that simple.
But to argue that guy's comment, it seems like the family was okay with them flipping it over up until they started doing it more aggressively and not turning it
Hmm.
back over. You know, I've
Hmm.
seen them on the ring camera. Now the wife just, whatever, throws it down the stairs. It seemed like it was a non-issue for the family. It was up until it got aggressive, and now it's a problem.
Yeah, if it was just the flipping thing, and they didn't even have a conversation with you, and it was just consistent, and it didn't feed your everyday life, it would perfect. You know what I mean? That whatever. But and like yeah, we don't know what the kid's going through. We don't know if the kid's having nightmares. We don't know if the kid has a phobia of clowns. Sure, a simple conversation would fix that. Nobody like Ty said, nobody's gonna say like, oh, like if I was a homeowner and something like that happened, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I will fix that. You don't have to buy me a new mat. I'll just buy a new one. I'll put this one on our porch or something. Like, it's that easy. You know what I mean? Like,
It is
but
really crazy too, the ring camera element of this because of the proliferation of ring cameras and just how much we're
yes,
being surveilled. Like again, I live in suburbia, every single house, mine included, we all have ring cameras on our doors. Every
yeah.
single person
I mean, who
to a
doesn't?
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's just everybody. You're being surveilled constantly at this
yeah,
point in your life. Pretty wild.
exactly.
Anyways, the consensus was that they're not the a hole for having their doormat out. I don't think
Yep.
they are either, but I think that there's a solution there. Maybe that's not just wage passive aggressive war forever. But
Yeah, exactly.
um, anyway, on the next story here, I gotta find it real quick. Oh, there's so many good ones too. Sorry. Oh, this is dead air. Somebody talk for a little while here.
Sorry
I'm
about
just
that.
kidding. Okay, I'm ready. Am I the a-hole for refusing to share with my cousin-in-law?
How old are these people?
Uh,
How old are
There's
these
just
people?
there's no way to know, right? This could go anywhere.
Okay, well
Yeah.
this I need more context. That makes no sense.
Share what?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I, 32-year-old woman, am
Okay.
currently living with my in-laws with my husband and our 6-month-old baby. We actually own our own home, but we moved in with my in-laws temporarily so they can help with childcare while I go back to work. They want to be involved with their first grandchildren, and this arrangement works well for everyone.
Okay.
I'm not expected to pay rent or bills or anything, but I still contribute. I cook dinners when I can, I buy takeout for everyone occasionally, and I've paid for bigger household items like a robot vacuum, a washing machine, and a dishwasher as gifts for the house.
Yeah.
About 3 months ago, my husband's cousin, a 21-year-old male, moved in from overseas while studying for his master's degree. It was meant to be temporary, but he hasn't made any effort to find other accommodation and may now stay up to 2 years. The problem is, he contributes nothing. He doesn't help with housework, he doesn't have a job, and he isn't looking for one, and only attends university 3 days a week for about 4 hours. He stays up gaming until 5 a.m. and wakes up around 1 p.m. His dad, who is well off, funds his lifestyle and gives him money to eat out constantly. Despite that, he expects a lot from my in laws. He asks my mother in law to cook him 2 separate meals a day because he won't eat the same thing twice. His dad said he'd reimburse food costs, but hasn't paid anything to the household in 3 months. He expects my mother in law to drive him to and from the bus stop, which is a 12-minute walk, often making her drop everything immediately or he'll be late. What really bothers me is how entitled he is while giving nothing back. Because of this, I've stopped including him when I buy takeout. I used to treat the whole family, including him, but now I clearly say this food is for everyone except him. My in laws think I'm being selfish, but he's never once contributed to a shared meal or paid for anything for anyone. I am refusing to enable him and will not waste any of my time or money helping him in any way, which is the same as how he treats everyone else in the house.
He seems like a mooch. You know,
Could be.
I could be. I don't think I would buy him anything either. I don't know.
Nope. I
I don't.
listen.
I also don't think I would single him out though. I think I would. I don't know, like, because that's just
A conversation would help, but it would become heated very quickly because, money's involved. Things like living situations are involved. Um, I would say it would be very different if the money he was given every week went to things like gas and food and he wasn't able to afford to help as much, right? But this is a very different situation because he's living pretty lavishly from what I'm hearing without helping. So, if like for example, when I was in college, I was making like $200 every 2 weeks because I was just working 1 day a week every week. And I didn't have much money to contribute to anything because I was working like nothing, right? So that's a different story. But when you're, I don't know, they're not the a hole. I will say singling them out is probably going to make explosive argument later on
definitely.
happen, but it's not necessarily in the wrong, especially because of how hard this person works. They have a child. It's very different. This person who has a child should not be, taking care of somebody that is related to them that is an adult. You know what I mean? Like they're not their child. And taking
It'll
care of the parents is different too, because I would do the same thing for my parents.
I think once again it all comes down to conversation. If this one person is upset about this guy not doing anything, I'm sure the entire family is. Let's have the whole family sit this guy down and be like, "Yo, like, can we not do this?"
See, and
Yeah,
I have a different take on this. I actually think that the my problem with the narration as we are reading it here, what she's leaving out of this story is that this isn't her house.
that too.
That's
If
true.
her in-laws are okay with their 21-year-old cousin-in-law mooching off of them, that's their business. Like that's fine. That's up to them. If they want
Yeah,
him to
I
be able to
mean,
eat all their food and stay there rent free and use their utilities, and the other thing that bothers me, I guess, too, is the subtext of, he's a lazy mooch because he plays video games all night and sleeps till 1 p.m. Oh, shut up. That's none of your business, anyways. Don't even
yeah,
get started on that. That has nothing
yeah.
to do with you. Just shut up.
The one
That's
thing I'll
nothing to
say
do
that
with you.
is that would help is a conversation with the in-laws. Just the in-laws and this person being like, "Hey, I don't think this is fair. Like I need you to just see this. If you don't agree, then whatever." But I will say that requesting and demanding 2 meals a day and the ride to the bus stop is kind of ludicrous. I'm not gonna lie. I think that would tick me
Like
off a
Ty
little bit.
said, if they're willing to do it, I mean, they
Or-
haven't said no, and I think it's perfectly okay for this lady to not want to buy him food either. Like that's her money. If she doesn't want to buy him food, I'm sure
Yeah,
he'll find a way to get it elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Okay, there's a lot of good comments on this one, and then there are updates as well. Some of the relevant comments here some of the commenters pointed out, she didn't talk about what her husband does, what he contributes to the household, because she's talked about how she provides meals and she does housework and
that
she's
is good.
bought things for the house. And it comes to light in here, her husband has a job that is pretty apparently pretty time intensive and labor intensive,
Yeah.
but he doesn't contribute in any way to the household either. So a lot of commenters are in here are like, why is your husband get a pass but not the cousin-in-law? Which I think is probably fair. I think some people would say, well, they're married, so there's shared funds or whatever, but I don't think that's true because even if their funds are commingled and she's using their money to provide food, what he isn't doing is being the person that's sharing that mental labor of ordering the food and cooking food and
Yeah.
cleaning, because she admits in here that he doesn't do any of that. And in fact, she also admits later in here that her husband doesn't care for the child at all either. She does,
Oh my god.
with
All right,
in
that
tandem
changes
with
the
the
whole
in-laws.
story.
So a lot of the narrative in the background that we didn't get, and this is a very good example of how one can craft a story around specific details and leave things out in a way that are
Yeah.
relevant. But it sounds like her husband's more of a freeloader even, and doesn't seem to realize that and gives him a pass while excoriating the cousin. It also comes to pass in here. There's also other comments. So hold on. I buy takeout when the cousin-in-law isn't around. He wouldn't even know he's being excluded.
I see.
So really what she's asking is she the a-hole because she's doing this without him knowing it? So she already knows that she's doing something kind of rude, perhaps.
I
And
guess
I actually don't think excluding him from meals is that big of a deal. I actually don't think that's
yeah,
that big of
I
a
don't
deal.
think so either.
Yeah.
If that's his.
No,
To
That's
me, the
whatever she wants
bigger
to do.
deal is complaining about his contribution when nobody's asking him to contribute,
that too. And
except
if
for her,
you,
who's not her house.
like I said, a conversation with the in-laws could also change it. If the in-laws are assuring you that this is fine, this is what we want to take care of him, we want to do these, then that's what they want to do. You can't sway them. You know what I mean? There is a little bit of context that we would need in that regard. How the in-laws actually feel, like if they feel that way and they just don't want to say it because they love their grandchild, I think grandchild, I forgot. I forgot the lineage here. But yeah, things like that. You know what I mean? But grandparents are vulnerable for grandchildren and like they love them, they would do anything for them. You know what I mean? So it's a complicated thing. Like if I went to my grandmother and I needed something, she would probably help me out. It's just
So
so it's a complicated.
the family relationship is she is living at her in-laws, so her husband's parents' house, and the other person that's staying there is her husband's 21-year-old cousin.
So child,
So
not grandchild.
it's the 21-year-old's aunt and uncle that he's staying with.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. I
No,
see.
and could it be possible that and this is just like now I'm just like I'm kind of reaching, but like could this guy be out of work on disability? You know what I mean? I mean he's home. It's,
So there are comments about that. Apparently he is capable of working and chooses not to.
mm,
The one thing I'll say about it is when you're in college, it's really hard to work. And it's not because you don't want to or you're lazy, but you have a lot of other stuff balancing on your plate. And even working 1 day a week because of just how I took 17 credits this past semester. I know it's not that impressive, but that was the most I've ever taken in a semester for my last semester. And it was a lot. It was a lot of work, a lot of late nights, a lot of up till 3 a.m. doing this. And I can only imagine how awful it is to go to work the next. You know what I mean? So like right after staying up till 3. So it's kind of like mixed for me because I feel like she's in the wrong, but if it were me, I would feel wrong being him, but also it's not my life, so apparently everyone's okay with it. Like,
When I was 21, I was working 2 jobs and
Yep.
going to school. And if I could have been living someplace nice and have all my meals taken care for me, I 100% would have.
And
Without
that's
I had moments
Absolutely.
hesitation, because what I was doing at 21, I actually burned out of college at 21 because of the life I was living. There I was working, I would get up in the morning and I'd go to school. I would straight out of school, I'd go to my first job that ended in the early afternoon, and then I would work the evening until close. And I would go home and I would sleep for 6 hours or something. And there were times in that period of my life where I have memory holes. I don't remember existing.
yep.
I just remember getting up, going to school, going to work, sleeping. There were times I have this very vivid memory actually of one night closing the restaurant down and getting into my car. And then the next thing I knew, I was waking up in my bed
Yep.
because
Um,
I had blacked out getting home.
I had the same thing happen to me. I didn't. It's wrong because I didn't necessarily need it because my parents took care of a lot for me, and I'm very grateful for it. Um, but when I was working as a McDonald's manager and I was in college, there are like you said, it's hard to explain, but gaps in your memory you just can't remember because you were just so on the go, always 24/7. And when I would, you know, I would go to school, then go close at McDonald's, and then bring my coworkers home because they didn't have a car and I wasn't letting them walk an hour home. And then going home and then waking up, and then it's like every time you feel like you hit the bed, you're back up. So it's like it's a
Mhm.
really weird and really rough time. I just wanted the extra money around the time, and honestly, I would have rather have been more broke and happier. I wish I
I
didn't. I
loved
would have probably
having
got better
all the
grades.
money I had. I
Yeah,
loved all the money
that's
I had when I during
same
that
here.
time. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Same here.
I wasn't doing anything. I didn't have a social life.
The most I did with it was buy food that I really want, and that was about it. Really it, and it
I
was
did
not
buy
worth
a
it.
lot of takeout.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
eating wherever I wanted to eat.
Yeah, it's nice for
I
a
don't
little bit,
recommend
but then it
living that
gets to
life.
you. It gets to
Yeah,
you.
I don't recommend it.
No.
The judgment on that was that she was the a hole,
Yep.
and the update was that her and her husband moved back to their house, which is probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
Just
Yeah.
get out of that situation. You were never gonna win living
Nope.
there. Okay, last story. Am I the a hole for wanting to sleep with my boyfriend?
I might need more.
I mean, initially I'm gonna say no, right? I mean,
Well, like,
Just off the
are
rip,
we are
right?
we talking like no consent involved type thing? Like this is where things get weird. Like,
Oh, that's an interesting angle. Okay, I, a 22-year-old woman, have been dating my boyfriend, a 23-year-old man, for 3 years now. A few weeks ago, we moved in together. We both work, we pay our own bills, and neither of us rely on family members for financial support. The other day, my mom and my stepfather came to visit us since they were in the area and wanted to check out our new house. Since it was a good few hours away from where they live and they arrived in the evening, my boyfriend and I were more than willing to let them spend the night in an empty guest room. These people are rich as heck if they have an empty guest room.
yeah.
As everyone was settling in for the evening, my mom was confused as to why my boyfriend wouldn't be sleeping on the couch. I was also confused and said that we sleep together in the master bedroom. My mom is very old fashioned and doesn't approve of any type of intimacy before marriage. She was also against the idea of me and my boyfriend moving in together, but she held her tongue during the duration of the visit so far. We got into an argument and it boiled down to my mom demanding that my boyfriend either sleep on the couch or on the floor in our bedroom. I said that was ridiculous and it wasn't like we were going to be doing anything inappropriate within the vicinity of my parents. Here's what we did, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
She still said that she was my mother and I should do what was asked of me. At that point, my stepfather stepped in and asked that we just listen to her and that I was making things difficult for everyone. In the end, nothing got resolved and my parents actually left. I assume they got a hotel for the night and left to go back to their house the next morning. I got an angry text from my mom where she called me a sinful little girl and that she raised me to be better than that. She told an aunt of mine what happened, and I later got a call from her where she said that my mom can be pushy and annoying, but I need to be the bigger person and apologize to her. My boyfriend is on my side, and his parents and siblings are too. I'm posting here so I can get some outside opinions on things. Am I the a hole?
You remember last episode when Ty Stacks said that you do not have to respect old fashioned opinions from older people? This is a prime example. I would have lost my mind. And I have a pretty good temper. I would have lost it after about 5 minutes of back and forth of that. No, absolutely not.
what I'm getting from that is the mother is an absolute head case. right?
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
the father was like, "Ah, come on, you're making it hard for everybody." So he doesn't want to deal with her. The aunt called her. She doesn't want to deal with her. The mother is the problem.
For sure. I
I'm
mean, that's
I'm
a clear
sleeping.
cut case. I just there is something to me about just the brazen audacity of coming into somebody else's house and saying, "I need you to rearrange your life for me while you're here."
Yeah.
That's
And
absurd.
also,
Get out of
not
here.
not everybody believes in this ultra religious view on dating and marriage. I'm sorry. There's been studies about it. I listen. I'm not gonna get into religious takes here, but it doesn't, like, it's your life. It's your life. You know what I mean? Like, live it how you want. It is that simple. If they have been that steady and are able to pay their own bills and move in together, in my opinion, they're practically married at that point without the piece of paper that says it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I'm not
agree.
like, I'm not saying that everybody has to get married. If people don't want to get married but they live like that and they don't want to deal with the, I mean, even on tax forms they got rid of marriage and it's like just domestic partnership now, or insurance or something like that. So it's like it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you that the mom, if you asked about the mom's history, I guarantee you she probably slept with a boyfriend or two. Like, it's just like half the time it's a lie to like be portrayed
She
and
probably
pushed
hasn't
onto
even
you.
slept with her current husband, if I had to guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what?
Not allowed
I
to touch her.
I would lose. I'm sorry. I would lose. I would get so unbelievably angry. It would be unreal. Like, I, even if I was on the opposite side of it, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'd be like, I'm like, "You want me to not sleep in the same bed? Oh my god! I sleep in the
In
same bed
my
as
bed, in
my
my house.
I
You are
sleep."
telling me I can't sleep in my bed in my house because you, the guest, don't want me to.
So you're telling me that time I slept in the bed with my best friend Austin, that was like a sinful? Oh my god! I'm
Well,
so sorry.
knowing you guys, it probably was, but just a little
There
saucy.
there is kind of a like a workaround though. I mean, the mom did say like I would sleep on the floor. Could have lied to her. Said, "Okay, well, he'll sleep on the floor," and then just not have. But that you shouldn't have to lie in your own house.
I wouldn't have put it
I,
past her to come check the
yeah,
room. I wouldn't have put her to come past.
yeah.
Like, if she heard somebody, okay, let's say you're sleeping and you get a notification and you're waiting for something and you check it and then your phone drops and then she comes in the room and you're in the same bed. There you go. Then a whole fight ensues at 2:30 in the morning. That's where I see it. But I agree with you, Stacks. That's the best. If you want to go the route of like least resistance in that case, that would be probably the best scenario. But I wouldn't put it past this mom case.
So I think exercises like this, I think it's really illustrative. If you so take mom out of the picture. Say it's a friend that comes over to your house to stay there and says that to you and says, "You guys can't sleep together because that offends me." What are you telling that friend? You're
Get
not
out.
telling them. You're not going to tell them a lie. Yeah, you're going to say, "Look, there's a hotel up the road you can go stay in."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's just ridiculous. And I'm not saying you should treat your mother the same way because she was your mother, but that's how I kind of try to frame those sometimes. It's like if I take my mother out of the picture, if I take the mother out of it, and it's just some other person that I'm associated with that I'm related to in some way, I'm gonna react differently. I'm gonna be like, "No, you're crazy. Get out of my house. What? You don't get to make rules here."
And even if it was her for me, like, it's also like I'm my own autonomous being. And like I can make choices however I want. And if I make a choice and I stick with it, nobody can sway me on that. You know what I mean? I made my choice to go to college, for example. Nobody swayed me on that. Nobody could have told me like, "Oh, that's a stupid idea. Go into a blue collar or whatever." Nobody could have changed my mind. So it's like one of those things where it's just you're your own person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a bad analogy, but
Being the mother, in my opinion, only gets you so far, right? Like Adapty said, and I said last week, respect goes a long way, right? I respected the rules of your house when I was a kid. Now you're staying at mine. You're gonna
exactly.
respect the rules of
I
mine. I don't
100%
have to
agree with
respect
you.
you. You have to respect my house.
I 100%.
And
I
I
respect
do
that.
think there's a time, like as a parent, because I am a parent, there has to be a time in your kid's life where you have to be like, okay, I raised this person. It's their life now. They have to
Yes.
live. So I can't use that. I'm your dad. You need to do what I'm telling you to do. No, because if I'm doing that when they're 22 and living on their own, I screwed up somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't do my job. the way
Yeah.
I was supposed to.
And
And people like that don't understand that.
this
So
is also you
you
go,
could
Tyson.
kind of be the Ty. You could maybe be like the other side. What if you were the father, right, and you were staying at one of your children's house? Like, would it ever even come into your mind to say, "Don't sleep with your significant other"?
No,
It would
absolutely
never
not.
happen. It would never. It's
If
ludicrous.
I was the parent,
That
I'd be
would
like,
never
just
enter my brain.
I would literally just be like, don't let me hear anything, bro. But you're good. I'm like that's all I gotta
I
say.
would like to think that if I was uncomfortable with that being a possibility, I just wouldn't put myself in that situation.
Exactly.
I would just say,
Exactly.
I'm going to come visit you, but we already have a hotel room down the road that we're going to go sleep in. That's just what
It's
I
that
would do.
simple. That's
I would
simple.
just
I agree.
remove that possibility from the equation. I wouldn't even put myself in that situation. That's silly.
I agree. It's just like,
But I'm also not a puritanical weirdo either.
and this is also, here's the other thing too, right? This is what sways people from like practicing that religion they grew up with too, because this will just automatically put a bad connection in your brain. Oh, this is just not gonna work. And then this could have ruined their housewarming and their like them like being excited to be together. And like, I'm not gonna lie, if I got those texts that you were talking about the next morning, I would straight up ignore them. They'd say read at blah blah blah, and they would
Oh,
not get answered.
I'd share them with all my siblings. And I'd be like, you guys, mom has gone off the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's time for a home. No, I'm kidding.
I'd
I'm
be
kidding.
putting that up on Facebook and be like, yo, my mom has lost it.
Yeah, exactly. But I just had to say that because that's an important thing too. Like, what if these people were Catholic or whatever religion, other religion believes in that like till marriage thing? Like that completely changes your perspective on it because now you have a negative outlook on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing is possible. And again, though, if you've raised your kids to be independent human beings, you might be disappointed maybe if they're not Catholic still or something. But you raised them with autonomy and the ability to choose. You should be happy with whatever choice they've made. And you should,
Exactly.
at least at the very least, you should respect that
The
they don't view that way.
the biggest thing I want for when I have kids is that more than anything, that they are more successful than me in some form or capacity. I'm not saying money. I'm just
Dude,
saying
yeah, no,
that's
100%.
all I want is them to surpass me, and then I knew I did my job. I don't know what surpass means. I'm not saying they need to make $2 billion right out of college or make more than I did right out of college, but that they're happy and they live a good life. That's all I care about. That they don't fall off the deep end. Because then
I'll
that
take that
means
a
maybe I
step
did something wrong.
further. I manage people in a professional capacity. I am a manager. And my sincere hope with every one of my hires is that they're better than me.
Yes, exactly.
Uh, I sincerely, everybody that comes behind me, I want them to be better, go farther, be happier than I did.
Exactly.
And I want to do that by paving the way for them. I
That's
want
the
to make
whole
sure
point. I
that
agree.
I'm setting them up for that. Because
Yes.
otherwise I'm not doing my job. What am I doing? What is my existence here if I'm not paving the way for a better tomorrow for people? What am
And
I doing?
like you embodied exactly what I was trying to say. It just that's all I want is then you know you did everything right at that point. You know what I mean? If they do, that's the beauty of it is because we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all have our flaws. So those people that you pave the path for will be able to improve on those cracks in the path along the way, as metaphorically speaking possible. You know what I mean?
If somebody was coming for my job, I would tell them to hurry up.
Yeah.
Anyway, unsurprisingly, the overwhelming consensus was not the a-hole.
Yeah.
Definitely not. No way. Yeah, no
I
way.
would imagine
in
so.
no world. In no world.
Well, in the mother's world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in a real world. Okay, so that's all the stories I got. We're getting tight on time here, so
Yeah.
a couple little things. Next week's episode should be really fun. So keep a
Yes.
watch out on that. We've already got it planned. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be different from this. It's gonna be a departure from this. We're still gonna be talking about stuff. We're still gonna be BSing, but the format will be a little bit different. Kind of something that we've talked about doing in the past, and it's gonna be experimental, but should be fun. Assuming
Yes.
everything goes the way it should and the tech works out. Comments or fan mail. I've got one on last week's episode on Spotify. This is from frequent commenter Dylan. And this is just, I'm going to read this, but it's really, really hard to believe.
I didn't even see it, so I'm excited.
Finally, Tie Stacks cooked. Yu-Gi-Oh is a way more enjoyable card game.
Let's
Oh,
go.
Dylan believes that? Yo, I'm gonna
So
have to beat
now
him up the next
there
time I
are-
see him.
Now there are 2 people that are wrong in the world.
Oh my god.
Dylan, if you're watching this,
No!
Dylan, let's hang out and play Duel Links whenever you're free.
Dude,
I'm
oh
so
my
down.
god.
You deserve
Oh,
each other.
shot.
I think there was one on YouTube. I'm going there now.
There was one on YouTube.
There was.
I'm biased towards that person, so I don't want to select their comments every time and read them. There's a
Yeah.
reason why I avoid them, but please read them.
Yeah, read it. I
So-
wanna hear it.
It says cold pizza is the best. I think that was one of my takes again, so I'm 2 for 2. However, they doubled down and had a terrible take and said cold pizza with cold pineapple is even better. You were so
Oh
close.
my
You were so
God.
close.
So I know who
Oh,
know who
cold
that
and
person is.
soggy?
and I know
Oh.
very, very well, very intimately their feelings on cold pizza. They very much enjoy cold pizza.
Oh,
Also, they also, just for the record, they love a pepperoni pineapple jalapeno.
oh my god.
So good.
Oh. That
All right,
hurts me a
friends.
little bit.
Until next week.
right.
Go check out, and I'm telling you this because it will maybe be important to next week's episode, maybe not. Go check out Tie Stacks at twitch.tv/tie-stacks237. Check out Adaptable at twitch.tv/adaptable__. Check out me at twitch.tv/TieGlorious. And we'll see you next week.